saw the thumbnail, you saw the video title, now let's do it. First, scaling for the Phantom Breaker characters. It's stated that Krakoa can fuel the tear between realities. Realities will be in context to the universe because duels threaten the fabric of reality, and Waka states that these same duels causes change in the universe. We know that in the Phantom Breaker cosmology, there are many parallel universes, including the one Shiro Makoto came from. In my last video about Phantom Breaker, I said a weak argument on the lines of, since it says the word many, most sources say that many means at least 5, which I admit was mostly AI and cherry-picked definitions. But I have a new, stronger argument for the quantifiable parallel universes. In Phantom Breaker, every character has a story mode or a route that's completely different and contradictory than another character's. For example, this character M kills everyone in her route. Meanwhile, in almost everyone else's route, it leads to a tussle with the antagonist without mainly killing anyone. This could imply that every route is a different parallel universe. There are 14 main story universes, plus Shiro Makoto's, plus the webtoon. So there are justifiably 16 parallel universes at the bare minimum. And Krakoa's contribution to the tears are way more significant than other duelists. We see before Makoto even gets to the location he needs to be in the story, there's a tear in the sky where Krakoa is. It is heavily implied that Krakoa is the one who put the tear in the sky, and at that time the antagonist Phantom was also there as well. He couldn't be Phantom since most of his power got sealed away, and his way of getting these powers back are by distortions/rifts made by the characters. There was also Tokuya there, another character, but he was a fodder, honestly. And those feats I said before was after the fight with Tokuya, assuming when we found him he was getting beamed by Krakoa, which was the case. After all this should be low multiversal plus, possibly multiversal. Now Mikoto would just match this power simply off being compared to Krakoa. And this can't be referring to Shiro Makoto since he is verbatim stated massively weaker than this Makoto. Now this could just be a massive Makoto upscale, but to reinforce my thinking, usually distortions happen when two duels of the same universe are clashing, which would mean characters of their respective universe will make their own tears on their universe. Lastly is Itsuki. Phantom says he's never seen a power of this magnitude before, which would include, I believe, all of Phantom Breaker, excluding, of course, the extra-dimensional beings in Phantom Breaker, and exclude any information contrary in Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds. I excluded Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds because it was released after Phantom Breaker Omnia. And that would mean Phantom meant at that time Itsuki was stronger than everyone in Phantom Breaker. But there's no significant change in characters that I know of in Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds, and there is no other route that includes a giant feat or statement that triumphs this, so my claim would still stand. Now for speed, which is really hard to scale, but I tried my best with one of the only arguments I could really come up with. There are endless amounts of laws of nature statements. In short, to pursue these duels is to violate the laws of nature. Newton's laws, the laws of thermodynamics, and the law of universal gravitation. Since they defy the laws of nature, they'd also have to defy Newton's second law, F equals ma. Now this break, defiance, or interruption of the law would equate to 0 because to be bound to the law, you still have to have a mass acceleration or a force determined by a number that isn't 0. What I just said wouldn't apply to force or acceleration because an object can have 0 force and 0 acceleration without defying the law. Now the law wouldn't apply to you if you have 0 mass, which would by proxy make you the speed of light. You're probably asking, why are you cherry picking? Why did you only choose Newton's second law? And why would you only apply it to Newton's second law and not the others? Well, first because it was the easiest to explain out of the 3 laws in my personal opinion. And I feel if you use a broad term like that, you're assuming all of the laws. If you're not, you're probably going to use the specific term if you're referring to 1 or 2 of them. Now it's time for the modern big 3, which is Deku, Tanjiro, and Yuji from My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, and Jujutsu Kaisen. Now I really don't know much JJK or MHA. I do know a bit of Demon Slayer, but either way, thank you to Noblesians of the Discord server Noblesse for the help for this game. First will be Deku from the infamous manga MHA. First of all, there is so much blatant manga panels to translations to even game dialogue that reinforces the thinking that Shigaraki should have at least planetary AP. And Deku should be relative to Shigaraki, also making him planetary. It's indirectly stated that Aoyama's lasers are light. It's off screen, but Deku's able to dodge this laser, making him at least FTL speeds. Next up is Tanjiro, which should be fairly easier. Tanjiro should be comparable to one of Hanteku's clones who destroyed a mansion, making him at least Lord's building level. He was also able to perceive Akaza's attacks and even dodge them. And at that time, Akaza's relative to Gyu in speed. Gyu should be at least pseudo-comparable to Mitsuri since they're both Hashira level. And she blatantly dodges lightning. That would make Tanjiro hypersonic to massively hypersonic in speed. Lastly is Yuji, which would be really hard to argue because there's a lot of different arguments you could actually go from. Like city level Yuji up to universal level Yuji based on how literally take statements or for pixel scaling or whatnot. And probably even outer verso from a Souls argument perspective. I personally believe from what I know, seen, and what I can derive from what it probably is, I think Yuji's about Continental Plus with relativistic speeds. But I guess favoritism wins all in terms of power scaling. The final verdict? Yes, Phantom Breaker characters dog with the Martyr Bank 3, and yes, these two solo all these verses come debate me in my Discords at Iridium Altar.